Hi everyone. It's lovely to see you all. Hello Bella. Isn't the Lord good? So Lord Jesus, we just thank you that your will be done and on earth as it is in heaven. So tonight I'm speaking about the goodness of God. And I'm thinking, Lord, I'd like to speak about Psalm 23. And the Lord's going, no, Rose, I want you to speak about Psalm 91. So, and it's really about the goodness of God and the protection of God and Psalm 91. So when it was COVID, I was living in a 3-bedroom home in Narrabundah. And I was very alone, very on myself. James had just gone down to live with my daughter, Jessica, at Batemans Bay. And Jesus kept reminding me, you're not alone, Rose. And I was in this big house in a really big property. Anyway, so I was thanking the Lord. I said, thank you so much, Lord. I have you, you're with me. You never leave me, you never forsake me. So I just kept pressing into the Lord and soaking in the Lord a lot, singing, worshipping, dancing, reading my word, talking to Jesus. And then one night, it was really, really dark, and I looked at my room, and all of a sudden there was like, see the lights up here, above here? It was like fluorescent light. Light started to fill my room. First of all, there was sunlight, there was a large amount of light, there was an increase of light, and then it was just totally consumed with the light of Jesus. And Jesus was revealing himself to me in the goodness of God, and he'd been speaking strongly to me about the Psalm 91 and the angels that camp all around us. And in that fluorescent light, this beautiful angel appeared. She had long golden hair. She was really fluorescent. She was absolutely beautiful. It appeared to be like a wedding dress. It was bridal, and flowers in her hair, and she was absolutely beautiful. The Lord had sent me an angel in COVID to show me that I was not alone, that the Lord had sent me a beautiful lady angel. And Psalm 91, the angels of the Lord encamp around us. So, talking about the goodness of God, this morning talking about, Lord, what are you wanting me to share today? And he was sharing and showing me my birth. At my birth, the enemy wanted to take me out. My mother's labour, the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, that was my birth disability. And the Lord was showing me, he was right beside the bed. So straight away, the enemy knew that the Lord had a big call of God on my life. But the Lord was standing right next to the hospital bed, and I could see this. And I went through a deliverance years ago. And when I was going through a deliverance, it was a deliverance from my birth, from when the cord was wrapped around my neck. And I was choking, and I could actually feel that cord. Even then, I was in my 20s. I could feel the cord, and the Lord was taking me through deliverance from the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck. So I went from death, the plan of the enemy to take me out from birth, from death to life. Then when I had cancer, the Lord did miracles, and I had a lot of these lovely people praying for me, and John and Jill were some of those lovely people praying for me, and Carmen, and then again from death to life. So the goodness of God was all over that. Now in the most recent years, my son James has had cancer in his face. All over different areas all over his face. The goodness of God, and Psalm 91 again. The goodness of God sustained James. We had to wait 3 years. Category 1, cancer, category 1. 3 years. And the Canberra Hospital wrote to us as a family, said, we apologise, James has had to wait 3 years for a plastic surgeon. If a lot of people had 3 years with cancer, they could have passed away. They could be in a much worse state than James is today. And then Jesus did it again, like he did for me. He's now doing it for my son, the miracles of Jesus. When we look at John had a good look in prayer for James on Sunday at church, and Shannon was sitting right near him, and different ones, and Jules said hello. And then people that know James could see his face. You can't see, and Carmen come and said hello too. When you look at James's face, I think you were looking at him, you can't see where he's had surgery, and he had surgery from the plastic surgeon in lots of different places all over his face. And none of us here could see anywhere, not even one spot. And people even came up in vision and they said, you can't even see anywhere where James had had this surgery from plastic surgery. So Jesus, the goodness of God, Jesus has done it again. Psalm 91, the Lord, James has been wrapped up in the protection of the Lord. James knows the angels are with him. James and I have seen angels together. When we were at the other house, sometimes I'd see an angel and then I'd say, James, where's the angel? And he would point where the angel is. So that happened about 3 times, and other godly people said that they'd had impressions and had seen and felt angels in the house. So, and when I was thinking about the goodness of God today, I'm thinking, you're just so good, Lord. You've given Anthony and Heather, Bella and Arthur, a wonderful new car that fulfills every need of the family of 4, and that fulfills it fulfills Bella and Arthur's needs as they're getting bigger and their legs are getting longer. And then it fulfills Heather's need, who Heather wanted a smaller car. So the goodness of God. Again, I see the goodness of God on lovely Laura, John and Jill's lovely daughter. On Saturday over in Queanbeyan, I went over to see if I could support them, mostly to see if I could support Laura. And the Lord bore down his blessings as the first step pregnancy. So a lot of people that have been struggling from Queanbeyan and Canberra have received help from Sarah's a social worker. They have another social worker now. Again, the goodness of God to help Laura because of workloads become great. And then in their fundraiser, $40,000 they received. These beautiful young women and us older ones, I went on the walk behind all the prams and I could see Granny Rose. So goodness of God again, walking, and they had a baby crawling race. So they put all the babies in the middle and the babies went for a crawl. And then they had the little ones that are just starting to walk. But these women are supporting women. They would have otherwise had abortions. And they're now having it with support and help. They're now having their babies. What a beautiful gift for a baby to be born. And Shirley's had that joy not so long ago of a baby as a grandmother with the baby being born, her grandson. So there's, different single mums, and then I think Laura spoke about it at church on Sunday, the goodness of God, that one lady that was strongly going to have an abortion, and because of she's been blessed with these wonderful young women. She's no longer having an abortion, and she's this young woman, and she's now going to have a baby and be really helped. So I'm really seeing a lot of the goodness of God. So thank you, everyone.